Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE and online at kvre.com and iHeartRadio with Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, Happy New Year to you and yours. 2025 is here. Did you have a good holiday season with the crew?
Oh, are you kidding me? It's unbelievable, and it gets better, Mark. You'll experience this. It just gets better. Being Santa or helping Santa, excuse me, and being the big elf around, it just gets funner. And then the kids bring the kids and the friends, and it's a big party. Had a lot of fun. Of course, my crews as well as yours, we watch sports and it was something interesting. The games have not, by no means have let us down, at all. Well, the Ohio State did something different, but other than that, it's been pretty fair bowling, and then the pro games too. So.
Yeah, a lot of great sports action happening for you in the past week. On New Year's, my oldest son, Michael, he's 16 years old, and he's notorious for never being able to make it to midnight. He always falls asleep before. So this year, we were committed, not only for Michael, but for Ben and River also. We made sure everybody was up at midnight for the ball drop and checked another check mark off of a young man's bucket list. To be innocent and 16 again, right? Well, let's go ahead and break down some of those sports stories that we talked about. Of course, you alluded to them. We've got a lot of college football stuff to break down in this one, but we're going to start in a different direction for segment one this week. Tracy, this week, something potentially historic has really been lurking in the shadows, and it's time that we start talking about it. It's the Diego Pavia case. Diego Pavia is the standout Vanderbilt quarterback. He transferred from junior college to a D1 program, and he recently sued the NCAA, stating that the NCAA bylaws were violating the Sherman Antitrust Act by limiting the amount of money that he could make from NIL because he was being penalized for playing junior college athletics. And of course, if you're not familiar with junior college athletics, that's really another name for your two-year colleges, such as National Park College in Hot Springs, ASU Three Rivers in Malvern, and schools literally all over the state of Arkansas. But this ruling also, I must say, includes NAIA schools, which is your Arkansas Baptist, Central Baptist College, Crowley's Ridge, Lyon College, and Williams Baptist University. So why is this important? It's because the ruling body, the court, issued an injunction that said, yes, Pavia can still compete for one more year. Now, here's the deal. If you're not familiar with how this works, when you participate at the junior college level, you might play for one of these schools for 1 year, 2 years. In the NJCAA, you have 2 years maximum that you can play, and then you'll transfer out to your NCAA destination. But 2 years of eligibility, or half of it, is now gone, which means once you get to NCAA sports, wherever it is that you might go, you only have 2 years of eligibility left, whereas a player that goes straight from high school into NCAA sports can have the full 4 years. One huge change that comes from this ruling is now that the NCAA is going to extend that eligibility window for junior college athletes and non-NCAA schools, NAIA, which not only allows them more time to complete their degree requirements, but allows them 1 extra year to compete in athletics at the NCAA Division I level. Tracy, this is a ruling. It's just an injunction, and I do have to tell you, it is being challenged by the NCAA, but as it currently stands, this sets a huge precedent for the path forward for high school and college athletes.
Mark, this is just a tale of, I believe, two halves now, David and Goliath, so to speak. I mean, how are you going to beat these guys, and especially in court? And it's going to go and go and go and go. Now, and the thing is he going to run out of financing or whatever the case is? Because it'll be, no matter what the ruling is at the lower courts, it's going to be appeal. They'll go to another court and blah. So and then the luster, the shine, they'll just try to hide it under a rock somewhere. But you're absolutely right. This is going to try to change, which there is some things that need to be changed. Obviously, you got so many coaches that are already dismayed with the way the NIL and everything is run already. And they came up with this ruling without consulting a lot of the coaches. And they're already against it already. So now you've got the players, the kids that are coming up, the parents also, they got a little bit of a say-so in this and saying it. So something's got to give. Now, I don't see why that they wouldn't. Look, everybody gets a chance to play, and then even the ones that during even COVID, they got another year after that. So why you wouldn't give these guys another chance or something like that? It does not make any sense how they came up with that ruling. And by the way, Mark, who are the ones that committee? Once again, they don't let you know who the committee is that make the rulings on these. Matter of fact, let's go back with the NIL. Who made the ruling on that? What committee came up with all that? And how did they come to the rules and regulations on that? Well, they obviously didn't think it over very well. And for these guys to be the ones that are leading the college sports into the next future round, I just don't think they did a lot of reasoning and rhyme for whatever the purpose was, because it's not working the way it is right now. Obviously, it is for the kids, don't get me wrong. A lot of them, but then now that you got the portal, you've got everything in dismay. You don't know who's going to play in the games, especially in the bowl games. You don't know where people are going. And now you got somebody that's just wanting to play the game and what's given to him with the rights that are given to him. I'm with the kid all the way, man. If you're going to play, you got to play by the rules.
Well, this is, like you said, you've mentioned a lot of things. We're going to try to break some of those down, but this is another trickle-down effect of NIL and how it has flipped college sports on its head. It's a change that some are saying levels the playing field for junior college athletes. You got to remember, many of these people come from diverse backgrounds. They face some unique challenges that come from some personal and maybe family adversity. And it's a ruling that I think is really going to change the trajectory of the route of college sports. So who benefits here? Well, the players certainly benefit here.
Well, yeah.
And these institutions benefit as well. Junior college, NAIA. Now, Arkansas has tons of these schools, right? And, there's been a little bit of a stigma attached to them. If you compete for some of these schools, it's lesser, and, you're not getting the same experience, and you're certainly not getting the same NIL dollars.
Well, the
right?
exposure, exactly.
The same exposure. So, you're limiting yourself by going to these schools. But what you're really doing is that you're getting playing time, for one, because if you go straight from high school to NCAA, you're going to redshirt. You're not going to play your first year. You're going to sit, and then you're competing for playing time. One of the big benefits from going to NJCAA or NAIA is, hey, you have a better opportunity for playing time, actually building that resume, getting experience right when you walk into the door. And now I think it changes the trajectory, because that penalty of playing for those other institutions that aren't NCAA schools is now currently being lifted. And what it allows for players to do is to go that route first, junior college, NAIA, and get that experience. Here's the deal. With NIL, any college sports, it's a job now. And if finally the workers are being paid, we hope, what they're worth out there from these colleges and universities that are making money off their name, image, and likeness. But now this allows, think about this. You apply for a job. Everybody wants this job. We talked about the transfer portal, right? Absolutely bloated right now. And of course, with redshirt years, you've got a lot of people competing for very few positions. So what gets you the best chance of getting that job? It's your resume. How much experience do you have? Do you have more experience than this person? And now this route allows for that to happen. So you don't necessarily now have to go straight from high school into NCAA athletics. You can go junior college or NAIA route, build that experience. You don't lose that eligibility. And then when you're done at those levels, you can move on to NCAA play. You're going to be, one, older, two, more experienced. And I think it's going to allow really up to that fifth year of play. You can't go more than 5 years of eligibility total. But now it allows this opportunity where you don't lose anything by doing it. You only have things to gain. And then when you enter the battlefield, and there will still be athletes that go straight from high school to NCAA, 18, 19-year-olds. But now, if you go this junior college NAIA route and then get in, you may be 20, 21, 22, facing off against 18, 19-year-olds with more experience, with, you assume, a better physical competitive advantage. To me, it looks like the better path.
Well, no doubt about it. Obviously, people don't realize unless you've had a kid at that level. An 18-year-old against a 21 and 22 is totally
It's huge.
It's huge difference, I'm telling you. Plus, also, like you said, the experience that they get, whether you're on the field or on the bench, you're still at practice and you're going against these guys with the upper level guys. Now, Mark, and I hate to throw a stick in the spokes here or a wrench in the machine, but does anybody have any of them taken into consideration they're going there to get an education, school? Have they lost sight of that? Is that not what? I'm sorry. I mean, something. My boys, this is the latter part of it. Colson got some NIL money, but the thing about it is people forgot what they're going to college for. And that's, I don't mean to just throw another, like I said, another wrench in there, but
and that's a good point, Tracy, because here we are, us as well, talking about all the athletic implications of this. And one of the things I did mention at the top of the segment is it does allow more time to complete that academic degree, because
exactly.
I was not a student athlete in college. I wanted to be. I didn't make the cut, but I was not actually a student athlete in college. But I work around student athletes all the time in my 9 to 5. And I know, seeing their struggle, how difficult it is to juggle both at a high level. So I can only speak from my National Park College experience, where I see kids in mandatory study halls each and every day throughout the school year. Mm-hmm. And, I'm going to give shout outs to NPC's softball team, because for years and years and years, they've been killing it as academic All-Americans. And NPC has produced many of them in the past few years. But, it's up to those colleges and universities. And I know NPC has a really good support system internally that helps make sure that their athletes are making the grade. And that's really great to see. But you're right. You don't play sports forever, no matter what sport you're in. So only some sports really go to really end game, late stage, higher echelon tiers, where, softball kind of ends after college, as a comparison there. So, there is life after sports, and you want to make sure that you are in position to be able to support yourself, your family, well after those playing days are over.
Be productive in society. Just something of that nature. When my boys went off, and you'll experience this too, and everybody else is listening, you want them to get that piece of paper, or at least come back. And then also, Mark, the whole essence of is just making the system work for you instead of you working for the system. And that's what they've got away from. Everybody's got the dollar sign, the carrots dangling right out there in front of them. But then, like you said, Mark, how many are actually going to be professional players? And then how many of them are going to have to go into the workforce? 99%. Okay? Very few. Very, very few. And I hope they sort it out. But the bottom line is you got to think about these kids. And that's the bottom line. And it's going to be an experience. We're going to sit back here and we'll be talking about it coming up in the weeks, months to come. You know that.
But it looks like it absolutely could be a landmark decision. If it stays, if it holds, it could be huge for changing the landscape of college athletics. We have a huge show planned for you this week on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. When we come back, we've got to talk about a wild bowl season in college football. The national champion will be crowned soon enough, and there was some big movement this past week. More on that when we come back on 92.9 at KVRE.
Second quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, for the first ever 12-team college football playoff, we saw action, excitement, and upsets all in the quarterfinal round. 3 big games in the books at the time of our recording, with Georgia and Notre Dame still to play. We'll break them down one by one. Penn State, Boise State. This is the one that started it all off in quarterfinal action. Tracy, it's been a tough month for Ashton Jeanty of the Boise State Broncos. First, he loses the Heisman Trophy, robbed in my opinion. Now he loses his chance at the CFP Championship Trophy, held to a season-low 104 yards on 30 carries, 3.5 yards per carry. That's half of his season average. Jeanty finished 27 yards shy of Barry Sanders' single-season rushing record set in 1988 at Oklahoma State. It was the Penn State Nittany Lions. They got it done by running for 216 yards on the ground, including 134 from Katron Allen, and playing great defense. They forced 3 interceptions to soar to the Final Four with a 31-14 victory. Did you see Penn State coming out on top in this one?
Well, the way their defense played the week before, shutting down, I really did. Now, here's the deal. If there's anybody that's got the easy route to the playoffs, I think Penn State had the lighter bracket. SMU, of course, but their defense is the one that's really made a mark, and that's been all year long. Okay,
that's true.
That's been the key to their success all year long. And you could see that they were up there crowding in the box. They crowded the box the whole time. They simply, and I don't know if it was a matter of being out coached or whatever, but you made the remark, okay, 30 rushes. Half of those were between the tackles. And at one point, you could see where they had 7 or even 8 guys in the box and only 6, 7 blocking. And so he didn't have a chance. And all year long, he's, made runs like that through those kind of defenders. But you could tell they were keying on him every play. And he did have a couple of long runs, but then here's what set him back was the negative runs where they caught him in the backfield. And at one point, it just looked like, I'll be honest with you, I know he had 2 weeks of rest, but it just looked like he was gassed a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Even when he broke away on those 3 runs, it just looked like he was gassed, or maybe, I don't know, maybe that caught up to him, Penn State's quickness. They talk about the SEC, how fast they are. Well, I got news for you. Penn State showed some quickness too. I don't know if they're the caliber team that's going to win the whole thing, because that's still weighing over the top of their coach's shoulder, which that's a whole other topic. But I didn't see that explosiveness that we thought that he would have. And maybe they depended on him too much. I didn't see the passing like they usually do, the play-action pass.
Well, most notably because 3 interceptions.
Well, it's exactly. But they kept going long on it, and I didn't understand that. Why the play-action, the dumping off to the tight end when he would release, nothing in the flats whatsoever. Everything was, they were trying to get the big ball because they were playing from behind, but sticks every time. And also another thing, you and I talk about this all the time. The penalties, man, God, they racked up on them. And when you're rushing the ball that much, you're going to have holding penalties. It's just that simple.
I didn't think about it from that angle. You use Ashton Jeanty and gassed in the same sentence. I didn't really think that was possible. And while I may disagree there, one thing that I guess you do need to consider, though, is with this CFP, this 12-team thing, there's more games. These college athletes are now playing more college football games than ever before. Yeah. And yeah, Boise State did get a first-round bye, yes, and we're going to talk more about that in a moment, but coming out, maybe the bye week hurt them. Maybe you see it all the time where coming in after that bye week, you take away some of the steam, you lose some of the energy, you lose some of the momentum, and then you've got Penn State, who's been going against SMU and the like, hasn't really had a chance or an opportunity to slow down, so they haven't lost any of that momentum coming in. Penn State is not the team that I had picked to win this matchup, but whenever I go back and look at it in retrospect, I'm like, man, this team was ranked very, very high all year long. Tough loss to Oregon. This is a team that very, very well could have won their conference championship and had that first round bye. So, I've been sleeping on the Nittany Lions. I'm going to be the first to admit that out there and think that they have a very solid chance to make some noise. Of course, they're going to have the winner of Georgia and Notre Dame in the semifinal, which good luck with that. And I assume at the point of this recording, I assume that it will be Georgia, and good luck with that one, but it could still be a really interesting matchup there. Hey, let's move along. Number 5, Texas. Number 4, Arizona State. These two teams battle it out in overtime. The Longhorns emerge victorious 39-31. This was a tale of two halves, Tracy. Texas looked comfortable early. They led this thing 24-8. But we've talked about Arizona State quite a bit in recent weeks and the kind of Cinderella effect they've had this season. They're picked to finish last in their conference. They go on to win their conference. They earn a first-round playoff bye. It's been an incredible journey. Late in the game, the Sun Devils are a 2-touchdown underdog in this game, mind you. Right. 2-touchdown underdog. And they're down 2 touchdowns late in the game. They rally from a 16-point fourth quarter deficit. They send it to overtime, and they even score first in extra time with Cam Skattebo and a big touchdown run. Skattebo probably had the biggest play of the game during regulation when he took that pitch on 4th and 2, and then he threw a 42-yard touchdown pass. This guy's the real deal. But it will be Texas moving on to the Final Four despite 2 missed field goals in that game. Thoughts on the Longhorns' performance?
Well, you can't say anything about that game unless you say Skattebo. And if you were in a drinking game, by the end of the game, you wouldn't have made it, okay? Because I'm telling you, they Skattebo'd us right out of the living room. But very well deserving. I mean, like you said, run for one, cop for one. He did everything. I think he served dinner at halftime. But as it is, the Longhorns, I don't know if they got out coached or whatever, but they just seemed like they were a little sitting back on their laurels and depending on somebody. Everybody was depending on somebody to break through. And it didn't look like anybody wanted to take the lead on it, to be honest with you. And sure enough, they were talking about their defense, the whole, and likely if they played at another time, Arizona State may come. I mean, they played the best of 5 series. Arizona may come out on top with it, But as it is right now, they just had something in their flavor, and everybody was just thinking Texas was. But boy, I'll tell you what, it scared us when they did score that first one in the overtime, and then Skattebo just coming out back. But here's what I thought was really ironic. They just kept hammering about how the special teams field goal kicking for Arizona State, 4 of 14, but they managed 50%, which what kept them in the game. And then on the other hand, the one kid, Mr. Dependable, that had made almost every one within the 40-yard, he misses 2.
Yeah.
So
big ones.
I mean, big ones. I mean, the winner right there at the end. I mean, and sure enough, it just felt like to me that Texas was waiting for somebody else to step up. And at the end of the game, of course, the quarterback, he was throwing some good balls and stuff. But the defense, it didn't seem like they wanted to play unless it was in the red zone for some reason. I don't know what. I mean, but shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I think the Skattebo should have got the MVP for the game.
Yeah, sure.
What I mean? Even
sure.
And why don't they,
in a losing effort?
Why can't they give that in a losing effort? I've never understood that.
Well, I don't know that they can't.
The kid showed out.
It's not can't. It's won't.
Yeah. Well, Texas just obviously, if they play like that in the next round, you'll be telling them, see you later.
Hey, that's the thing about cruise control. You get up big early, you set the cruise control, but when you're setting the cruise control at 45 and a 55, they're going to catch up to you from behind. And that, let's talk about another team that went into cruise control. It's time to rip that Band-Aid off, baby. Oregon and Ohio State. The Ducks squeaked past the Buckeyes back in October. They won 32-31, and it may have really been only one of the real challenges, one of the only challenges that the Green Machine had seen all season. Fans going into this game may have been misled by number 8 versus number 1, but anybody who knows this matchup knew that this was possible. Tracy, I was a little bit busy. I didn't have a chance to turn on the game until the second quarter. And
we were thinking of you, the whole time.
Well, listen,
your ears had to have been burning.
Picture this. I turn on the game, second quarter, my jaw hits the floor. It's 24-0.
Yeah.
Buckeye freshman wide receiver Jeremiah Smith already had 5 catches, 161 yards, and 2 scores. Oregon as a team only had 60 yards of offense.
He's a dog,
and then
man.
I watched in sheer horror as the Buckeyes tacked on 10 more points to make it 34-0 in the second quarter. And when it was 24-0, I had a glimmer of hope. I'm like, hey, it's Oregon. Nobody's out of this until the fat lady sings, right? When it got to 34-0, it was all downhill from there.
Start the orchestra.
Dylan Gabriel and the Ducks did eventually find their identity, but it was too little too late. The Ducks end their dream season run with a 41-21 loss. The number 1 seed, the undefeated Ducks, my favorite team, dead to rights, floating in the water. What does that mean? It means that this CFP playoff is now wide open.
Okay, I'm going to reverse the role on you, Mark. What happened here? Was Ohio State that much better this go around, or was Oregon just did something happen to them not to show up?
Well, the Oregon fan base is going to tell you that in all 3 games that we have mentioned here, the 3 losers all had first round byes. Now, me, an objectively intelligent person, is going to say, you know what? I'm not going to blame it on the bye. I'm not going to blame it on the bye. I'm going to blame it on not wanting it enough, or even maybe folding to the pressure. Oregon goes into this game. They beat Ohio State by 1 point early in the season back in October. You think they didn't know that the Buckeyes are going to be there with their number ready to go? Oh, I thought so. And Ohio State came ready to play in this one. They were able to, much like how Penn State shut down Boise State, they attacked the key targets for Oregon, disrupting Dylan Gabriel, disrupting the running game, and really, honestly, just taking advantage of some really poor defensive play for the Ducks. I mean, there were some wide open touchdowns that should have never, ever happened at this level of college football. No way, no how. But it did happen, and Ohio State jumped on first, and when they set their cruise control, they set it at 65 and a 55. And Oregon could not catch up.
Well, I'm going to go with that theory that you just brought up. I think the week off, I don't think it's like the pros where there was a lot of healing time or anything of that nature. I think it throws your timing off and everything. I'll be honest with you. And they're used to traveling. They do that already, especially in the 12 and the 10. They do a lot of traveling. So that wasn't the essence there. I think it was the time off. I think it was just everything to do with that. And there's going to be some changes in this 12. I'm telling you right now.
Well, you're right, Tracy. This is the first time they've ever done it. You have to assume that this committee, whoever they are,
there they are,
wherever if they even exist,
yeah, exactly.
You have to assume that this committee will make changes going forward. You have to assume that they're watching everything closely. But remember, with there being 12 teams, the only way to make this bracket work is to have 4 first-round byes. Do the byes need to change? Are they good the way they are? Or a different scenario to throw your way. Outside of Oregon, which I absolutely think deserved the number 1 seed and a first-round bye.
Correct.
What if it's not the byes, but rather who received the byes? Maybe this comes down to the seeding and the placement. Did the committee get it right? Remember, Arizona State, Boise State, didn't really project a whole lot. Arizona State was picked last in their conference, ended up winning, and these 2 teams got in because they won their conferences, but weren't necessarily ranked in the top 4 teams in the AP Top 25 poll. Were they absolutely deserving of that first round bye? I think that was the bigger question that comes into play rather than the byes themselves. Did the committee get it right? At least according to the quarterfinal results. I don't think so.
No, and obviously, Mark, they've been doing this same sort of a situation with more teams, of course, in basketball, and they've pretty much get some good games every once in a while. But the way it flows is the top teams get the lesser teams. I mean, it's just that simple. And why they didn't do this with the 12, anytime you play a tournament, the brackets are set up that way. I don't agree with the way it is, but then again, I'm not in the committee. So maybe they'll learn from this and go on with it. But as it is right now, it's all set, and we'll find out from here. I'm not going to push the envelope too much more than that, but I think the best teams are in right now.
Much more to come on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. We'll take it to the NFL when we return on 92.9 KVRE.
Third quarter coming up.
Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, big story in the NFL this week. Probably the most interesting story in a week full of potential playoff clinching scenarios is a story that might not actually even happen. Let's rewind back to the beginning of the season where we found out that the New York Giants were trading star running back across the division to the Philadelphia Eagles. And at the time we said, boy, that seems like a really dumb idea. And now a video surfacing from the New York Giants front office saying, we can take a gamble on this. What's he going to do? Rush for 2,000 yards? Uh-oh. Fast forward to where we stand today. Saquon Barkley at least statistically, is the best running back in the NFL. He's rushed for 2,005 yards. He's one of 9 people to rush for 2,000 plus yards in NFL history in a single season. He got that by a 167-yard performance against the Dallas Cowboys. And now, with one game to go in the regular season, Barkley and now allegedly will end the regular season 101 yards shy of breaking Eric Dickerson's NFL record of 2,105 yards set in 1984. The news coming out this week that Barkley is expected to sit and not play and ultimately not pursue the record. The Eagles have the Giants this week, which would make this entirely comical and ironic that he could break the record against his former team, bring his whole journey full circle, but it looks like it may not happen. Barkley says, quote, "At the end of the day, it's not in God's plan. I've got bigger things in mind. We have a chance to rest and get ready to roll for the playoffs." I'll go more into the depth in this in a second, Tracy. Your initial thoughts, Barkley not playing for the record, right decision or wrong decision?
Wrong decision. I mean, how many more times is he going to have this chance? I mean, in football, NFL, you know what it stands for. All right. So next year, the way they trade out, the way they do this, he may not have the same line. Anything could happen. He could get hurt. Look, you've already gone this many games and you're this close to a milestone that will be etched in history. Of course, he's probably on the right track and going to the Hall of Fame, possibly, whatever. But you get that kind of credential underneath there. And plus, what was in his contract? You think there was some sort of stipend in his contract where maybe, just maybe, if he gets this and this and this, he gets this extra money? You think they had the 2,000? You think they had the Eric Dickerson clause in there? Probably not. But then again, if I know he's got to think of his team and everything, he looks physically sound right now, and you're thinking 100 yards, he could probably do that. This is the Giants. This is the Giants.
Very lowly New York Giants.
This is the Giants.
This is the lowest of the lowest hanging fruit. The apple is literally touching the ground.
He could probably get it in the first half and then be done with it, and then go to the bench. Get it and then just rub it in and carry some salt in his little, his waist on his first touchdown, and go to sprinkling it, because that's what they need to do, especially like you said, the video that came out. So I said, go for it, man. I don't know why. He's already played 16 games. What's 17 going to? You get a bye, right? He's got a bye.
They will not get a bye.
Not to bye. They get the first round because they'll be at home. They'll get the home.
They'll have a home game, but not a bye.
It's going to be Minnesota or Detroit. But then again, I say go for it.
The Eagles are 13-3. They've clinched the NFC East Division title. They're locked into that number 2 seed, which is not a first-round bye, but it is that home game. Regardless, It makes this Giants game irrelevant from a playoff positioning perspective. In most situations, you see this very commonly. You're going to see it across the league for playoff teams resting their starters. It's a throwaway game. It doesn't matter. But I actually agree with you. Barkley has something significant to play for here. And he did add it. He thought it might be special to break the record against his former team, not out of revenge, but rather as a way to thank the Giants organization for helping him pave the way for who he is as a running back today. I got to tell you, Barkley has ran for 101 or more yards in 11 out of 16 games this season for the 13-3 Eagles. I agree with you. He could probably get it in the first half against the Giants, who are one of the worst teams in the NFL against the run. I know that winning a Super Bowl is probably the bigger goal. I mean, it is the bigger goal. Not probably. It is the bigger goal. You want to win it all. You want to get that ring because that's going to cement your status further. But I don't see why you can't do both. Now, of course, me, objectively, looking at the NFC, yes, the Eagles are the number 2 seed, and yes, the number 1 seed is either going to be the Vikings or the Lions. What an insane matchup that is this week. But even as the number 2 seed in the NFC, I do not equate that as being the second best team in the NFC. And now, had Jalen Hurts not gotten hurt and went into the concussion protocol, maybe that changes my outlook on this. But as it stands for the current status quo of the Philadelphia Eagles, I think that there's trouble looming ahead. I don't think that they have the Super Bowl chances as either the Vikings or the the Lions,
No.
maybe even the Packers
Maybe even
in this
yes.
discussion
No.
as well. Yeah, you want to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, you want to show confidence. And yeah, you don't want it to be about personal accolades. You want it to be about the team, and it's always about the team. I think that this is something that you cannot pass up. It is right there in front of you. You have the opportunity to break a record that has been sitting there for 40 years, and you're not going to take that opportunity? I know it comes down. I mean, listen, it comes down to the coach. It really does come down to the coach because Barkley cannot put himself into the game. But I really wish that they would reconsider this.
No doubt about that, man. This is history. If nothing else, the fans deserve it. I'll be honest with you.
The die-hard Philadelphia Eagles fans, yes.
Yes, the Eagles fans, and also the true sportsmen out there, you, me, we all. This is something that you may never see for another 4 decades, okay? There's only a few Barkleys that come along. There's only a few Dickersons. I mean, this is something, look, only a few have ever made to that round. And you remember when Dickerson broke it? O.J. Simpson, and stuff like that, the likes. This shows you you're in a small crowd of some of the best running backs ever. And I mean ever. So this particular, when they talk about 1,000-yard seasons now, that's sort of lost the luster.
Kind of.
You got 60 yards a game, what the heck?
Yeah, that's right.
But when you got this right here and you're immortalized forever, Mark, sorry, I got to go with it. Sorry.
Now, a few playoff scenarios to bring your way real quick here. We're going to run through these at lightning speed for you. Baltimore and Pittsburgh are fighting for the AFC North Division title. The Ravens have the Browns. The Steelers have the Bengals. All the Ravens have to do is beat the Browns, and they make it. Pittsburgh has to have Baltimore lose to Cleveland and beat Cincinnati. Does Pittsburgh have what it takes to overthrow Baltimore here?
No. I think that the play, Joe is going for something special. Now, whether he gets the MVP or not, I don't know. But I think the only thing, they're playing Three Rivers. We'll see what happens there. But Joe Burrow is going for something special. And Wilson is not on his game right now at all. If you've seen the last 3 or 4 games, he is not at all. And Baltimore is on fire right now. I think they may be the only team right now that can handle Kansas City. And I know they were down a little bit, but right now they're playing their best game. And I think Cincinnati, man, if Wilson don't pick up the pace, Cincinnati's going to run right through them.
Let's talk about AFC here. There's 3 teams looking for that final wild card spot. It's Denver, Miami, and Cincinnati. Denver gets the spot if they win. The problem is they're playing against the 15-1 Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs, like the Eagles, are expected to rest most of their starters, which, they're locked up, the number 1 seed. No one's going to take that away from them. Could Denver get it with the win there? Miami gets it if the Dolphins beat the Jets, 4-12 New York Jets, and Denver loses, which seems like a possible scenario. Cincinnati gets it if the Bengals beat the Steelers, and then Denver and Miami both lose. Kind of unlikely. Yeah. Denver, Miami, Cincinnati. Who gets that last spot?
Unfortunately, with Kansas City laying down, I believe Bo comes out and has a good game, but it's going to be a tough one. I'll be honest with you, Tua's probably not going to play again. Maybe you don't ever know in that bunch right there. And we know what the Jets are all about. But, that's a game. I'm going with Cincinnati on this. I think we're going to have a double loss in Cincinnati comes out of it. Okay.
So you're going,
hey, look,
you're reaching to the bottom of the bag.
I'm going to the bottom, man. Joe, look what Joe's done this year. And I know Bo's very deserving for that, maybe the MVP for rookies and stuff and such. He's battling it out with Washington, but I'm just, and that's the essence. I just want to see Joe get up there. Hey, look, I think he's got MVP capability of all the records he's broke.
I'm going to go with Miami in this one. Detroit, Minnesota. The winner gets the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Stop. Miami's got to go to New York. You know what's going on in New York when they play?
I don't care. They've benched Aaron Rodgers. It's probably his last NFL game ever. I know he's going to start, but it's probably his last NFL game ever.
Have you seen the record? Miami playing in the snow
care. I don't
in New
care.
York.
They've got a young man named Achane who runs the ball with authority. I think Miami's going to win that game, and I think Denver's going to lose.
I think River could run through the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, go on the next one.
All right, Detroit, Minnesota. Who wins and who gets the number 1 seed and a first-round bye in the NFC?
They're playing at Detroit.
Yes, they are.
Minnesota's so good right now, but I think even as beat up as Detroit's defense is, they've got the league leader in interceptions, and I think he's going to really add to that and get another one. I see Detroit, even if they have to go fourth down like they did the other night 4 times, they're going to do it. And Detroit's going to get it at home.
I agree. I think Detroit's going to lock it up. They are a dangerous team and potentially the best team in the NFL. Last but not least, the NFC South is going to go to either the Atlanta Falcons or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Falcons have to beat the Panthers, and the Buccaneers have to lose to the Saints in order for the Falcons to make it. The Buccaneers just have to win the game, baby. Who takes the division?
Well, the rookie's doing okay right now for the Falcons. I mean, maybe the home office did the right thing in benching my guy, but still, you're looking at a team that's on fire right now with Tampa Bay. Obviously, their quarterback throwing 4 TDs the other day and running for one day. It looks like they're just on fire right now. And I'm sorry, the Saints are putting bags back on top of their heads, and we'll see what happens with that. But I got the Bucs, baby.
I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one because I think that New Orleans may be playing with some authority given the national landscape of what has happened New Orleans this week. I think Tampa Bay better be ready. It's going to be a hard-fought game for the Buccaneers. We've got one more segment to bring your way. The local roundup comes your way when we come back on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE with Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Our final segment of the show this week, our local roundup. Congratulations to the Cutter Morning Star girls basketball team defeating Fountain Lake 51-39 Monday night in the finals of the 7th annual Larry Ray Holiday Tournament in Jessieville. The Lady Eagles are absolutely on fire this season, Tracy, for head coach Aaron Thomas. They're ranked 4th in the state in Class 2A, 14-0, a unblemished 4-0 in 2A7 play, and a big night for Caitlin Gurin, her three-point shooting helping lead Cutter Morning Star throughout the tournament. She had 17 points against Fountain Lake with 5 trays as they take down the Lady Cobras to win it all.
Mark, you said this at the very beginning of the season this year about how good this team is going to be, and sure enough, and how good she's going to be, and sure enough, she's all-state all the way. Big congratulations to them. A very dangerous team right now.
In boys action, it was the red-hot Fountain Lake Cobras senior boys basketball team who won the Larry Ray Holiday Tournament. They defeated Blytheville 53-49 on Monday to pick up their 15th win of the season. They led this by 12 at the break, and they endured a late run from the Chickasaws to get it done late. Dylan Detmering, a name that you're going to hear a lot over the next month or so. He finished with 26 points in the win. Cooper Buss added 10 points as well, and they got help from all along the bench. Peyton Harwood stepped up, had a really big game there, and they got it done. Their 15th win of the season, winning the tournament. Coach Det has the Cobras moving very well in the right direction right now.
You know, Mark, and those 3 losses that they've got is from bigger schools, a lot bigger schools, and like you said, everybody contributed, especially the defense, in the last 2 minutes of that game. Peyton Harwood had some major steals. Free throws came in big right there. And you're looking at another team that could potentially go deep. Another dangerous team right here. And everybody's got the bench working for them. Fountain Lake looks like a really good team in their conference, I'll be honest with you.
And, of course, another college football story that we did not get to. Congratulations to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Hey, it was a bumpy season to say the least, but they finish on top. They win against Texas Tech in the Liberty Bowl, and they got it done. A very strong offensive showing in the first quarter, scoring those 21 points. Taylon Green rushes for a touchdown, throws for a touchdown, and probably the biggest 1-yard rush of Braylon Russell's young career as well. Arkansas kind of fell flat down the stretch, as we're known to seeing, but Matthew Shipley helped with 3 field goals, 2 of them for more than 40 yards, and the season is in the books for the Razorbacks. Sam Pittman will return in 2025. We don't know who will return in terms of the player base.
Are we back to that again?
Well, there was a lot of concern going into this game with the number of transfers that entered the portal, left the portal, re-entered the portal, left the portal. It's been a roller coaster ride up on the hill, to say the least. But Arkansas gets it done against Texas Tech and sparks marks a little glimmer of hope maybe for the next season in 2025. Sam Pittman will be on the sidelines, hopefully sans Kane. Best of luck on his recovery, I might say, by the way, with his recent surgery. But there are some big games on the schedule in 2025 that we've got to talk about briefly. Arkansas State,
big winner,
and Arkansas will play in Little Rock, and congrats to the Red Wolves, by the way, and a home game against Notre Dame on 9/27. It's the first time those two teams will face off in program history.
Unbelievable. Yeah, for certain. This was one that just helped out with the credentials of the coaches up there on the hill. There's no doubt about that. Everybody will stay in place as of right now. We never know, with the way the roller coaster ride is on that one also. But hopefully we get some new players in. Some of them contributed that came in off the portal right away. And then there was some, well, we didn't, be honest with you, even the announcers didn't know who they were catching some of the freshmen. But then, just like you said, you had the one freshman that caught a pass and went for a touchdown. And now he's in the portal all of a sudden. So we don't know. Yeah, I mean, he's gone already. So
yes.
So we don't know where we're going. But
couple big plays. See ya.
Bye. But congratulations to both the Razorbacks and the Red Wolves. A really remarkable game, and I'm happy to be a part of that to announce a W for them for a change. So we'll take a win anyway. When was the last time they won a bowl game? Think about it, So congratulations to them and to the Red Wolves. Can't wait for that game next year.
That's our show, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. We're here every Saturday morning on 92.9 KVRE. You can find us online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. And don't forget, if you have a story that you would like us to talk about, or you'd like to chime in on something that we have talked about, you can text the show at any time. 501-915-1300. We would love to hear from you in 2025. One of our New Year's resolutions for the show is to have more fan involvement with what we're doing. Of course, we'll celebrate 1 year, our birthday coming up in March. Excited for that one, Tracy. Great show. Looking forward to a great 2025 across from you here in the KVRE studio.
Not too bad at all, Mark. Hey, going out with a bang. We love it. Let's go.
All right, that's our show. We'll see you next week. For Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. This is Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE.
Game over.